There are 3 things I really dislike about some synth reviews. You can tell me if you agree with me or not. I'll explain what the 3 things are, and then I'll tell you what kind of synth reviews I think are the most helpful. So number 1, and this is really one of my pet peeves. I seem to come across it most often from companies who are trying to sell you the synthesizer. However, I have seen similar reviews spread across YouTube. And it's when the presenter says, I made a demo track to show you what the synth sounds like. And you might think, well, that's fair enough. And then they say everything is a synth apart from the kick drum and the snare drum and the hi-hat and the percussion. And I think, well, that's not a synth demo, that's a 2-synth demo. Now, you'll know if you listen to any music with any sort of drums in it, the drums form a major part of the track. So this is effectively masking the sound of the synthesizer. I don't find that helpful. I'm trying to listen to the synth. I want to know what the synth sounds like. Apart from that, even if the track is a good one, it'll generally consist of a bass line and a pad and a lead sound, maybe an arpeggio. So you're only getting a flavour of 4 very typical sounds from the synth. That's really not what is going to sell it to me, I'm afraid. Now, sometimes they do go on to demonstrate a few presets, and throughout the video they may tell you about how the synth works and what features it has. But that sort of synth review demo I really don't find helpful if I'm trying to decide if I want to buy a synth or not. The second pet peeve, and again this is a bit of a peeve and it is perhaps a bit of a personal thing, but it's about the way the review is structured. Now, you most often find this from the synth developer themselves, but again, it's a common way of reviewing synthesizers across the whole of YouTube. They usually start off telling you about the synthesizer, they give you an overview, they tell you about the oscillators and the filters and the modulation section and the effects and all this good sort of stuff. And this can go on for a while because most modern synths, especially soft synths, are quite complex. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to hear what the thing sounds like. If it doesn't sound good, it doesn't matter how many features it has. I want to hear the presets. Now, if there's something really special about the synthesizer, sure, mention that in a very short overview, but let's get into the presets because that is what we want to hear, what we want to know, what it sounds like. Here's a question for you. Synthesizer Marketing 101. What is the purpose of a preset? I'm waiting for your answer. Now, if you said it's for people who can't program or who don't want to create their own sounds, well, I think you'd only be half right with that. Synth Marketing 101, the reason for a preset is to sell the synth. Now, if you think of the great synthesizers of yesteryear, in particular the Korg M1, the Roland D50, the Roland JD800, go to one of those, press the first preset button, listen to the sound. It is a killer sound. It is the sound the manufacturers have produced to sell you the synthesizer. I want to know that sort of sound. What can this synthesizer do which is going to make me say, yes, I've got to have this? A developer should really be able to show off and demonstrate what their synth can do through the presets, and that's what I want to hear first. Then we can go on to the other bits and pieces if I haven't already gone off to the sales site to buy it. It's just a question of structure, but let's get into the most important things first. That's what I think anyway. And the third thing, which I just find them pretty useless, are what I think the companies call teasers or trailers. And it's where they give you it might be 30 seconds long, it might be 2 or 3 minutes long, but it's sort of a mashed up compilation of the sounds the synthesizer can produce, normally accompanied by really nice graphics and video presentations. And what really tickles me about this is where you get a 3D representation of this 2D synth layout. Yeah, it's definitely going to make me want to buy it. But I know what they're trying to do, so well, let the marketing department get on with it. The thing about these teaser videos is that you don't know what is being played. They often contain several sounds which transform or merge or morph from one into the other. But what is being played here? Is this one sound? Or is it a little track which the composers put together, which they then cleverly morph into another one? Are they holding down one note? Are they playing a chord? Are they playing some notes? I mean, sometimes you can't tell, but not always, especially if they're sort of evolving pad-type sounds. So I've no idea what's going on here. Have they added effects, compression, EQ? Has it been mastered? Well, probably, possibly. I've no idea. So these things, yes, oh, that sounds wonderful, great, I'm going to buy one. No, I'm not. I just want to hear the sounds. I want to know what it can do. I want to know what I might be able to do with it. I want to know how I can use it in my music. So I suppose this is probably Synth Marketing 102, so it's the lesson I never took. I'm assuming the marketing department's been given another 10 grand to spend on promoting this synthesizer, so they've hired a graphics designer and a video producer to do the video and the graphics, and paid a composer a small amount of money to come up with the sounds. We have the money, we must spend it somehow. Now, one can only assume that these sort of things are going to engender interest in the synth and sell it. But I don't know about you, it doesn't work for me at all. So how, well, in my opinion, how should synth reviewers review a synthesizer? Well, as I said, for me, at least the most important thing is the sound. So I want to hear the sounds. I want to hear the presets. If they want to tweak a few controls while they're demonstrating the sounds, that's fine. But I really want to hear the range of sounds that this synth can produce. I want to know what it can do that the silly number of synths I already have can't do. So a very short introduction, a very short overview, I think is acceptable. Pointing out any unique features of the synth, I think that's great. And then let's get into the sounds. Let's hear what it's like. Get us excited about it before you start talking about the interface and the additional features it might have. Well, that's just what I think. But there are many synths I've looked at and tried to find reviews for. Obviously, some of them from really small companies, so they don't get a massive amount of coverage. But because of the poor way some of these reviews have been handled, I've just said, no, I really don't know what this is about. I don't know what it does. I really can't tell how I'm going to be using these sounds. So I just don't bother with it. It is, however, a really good way to avoid my gas. So what do you think? Am I being too fussy? Am I being too picky about what I should expect from a good synth review? What's most important to you? Do you want to hear what it sounds like before you know the features? Or are you quite happy to sit through a list of features and then discover that it doesn't really sound that good after all? And what do you think of my ideal synth review format? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if any review has actually put you off buying a synthesizer. Many reviews have definitely prevented me from spending money. Maybe they're a good thing after all. I hope you found this interesting, mildly entertaining, useful, enjoyable. As always, thank you so much for watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. If you have enjoyed this video, I think you will enjoy these videos as well. Check them out. I'll see you again very soon.